Fresh Girls Cup! Let's start!
Hello honeys, I asked all of you to submit your idol unit ideas for a dream unit showcase and I put them to work. This community video is a little different because you guys were so creative and had so much to share. I've done my best to bring your ideas to life. Enjoy! We are celebrating the revival of the Aikatsu franchise with Aikatsu Academy, so I've decided that the entire Aikatsu universe will hold a massive festival. And to spread the word, an elaborate series of events and promotions are underway. The first phase in this festival is a series of radio and live stream promotions. Idols from across the Aikatsu universe have gathered into units to spread the word about the festival and talk with fans live on air. Kicking off promotions are Ichigo, Hana, Raki, Mizuki, Rose, and Mieru. They host a special live stream where they each model Ichigo's signature dress, Aurora Kiss, and announce the event to the public. Hime, Yume, and Elsa appear next under the unit name Coronation. They provide details of upcoming radio promotions and tell everyone where to tune in next. The unit global parade, formed by Juri, Miyabi, Sora, Laura, and Alice Carroll, split up to appear on international broadcasts showing off their signature brands, with Alice Carroll representing My Little Heart. They are happy to announce that the Aikatsu Festival will be open to fans all over the world. Aikatsu Academy gets an early boost in promotions from one of its streaming club members, Parin. She has chosen Emma and Nina as her livestream co-host to introduce fans to the new school and show off their excitement for the event. They named their unit Party on Air and plan to make appearances together during and after the festival. Otome is next, introducing Yume and Mio on a radio show as members of her new unit, Prism. Her enthusiastic explanation of their rainbow concept and promises to show off all of their awards are quickly reined in by her group members, who remind her to also give out important event information. Otome's next guest, Aine, is a little less successful at this. Their duo name is Sugar Rainbow, and Otome is happy to explain how they came to the decision to form a duo and trio rather than a four-member group. Aine does her best to keep up with her and reminds listeners to check online for any information they missed. A special children's broadcast is then started by Maria, Sakura, and Aria under the name Nature Fairy Tale. They dress up in fairy tale cords to introduce the storytime concept of the show and explain how the stories will connect with events later in the festival. Maria swaps out with Hime and Karen, who form the unit My Sweet Stories with Sakura and Aria. They have written their own adaptations of popular stories using their friends as characters. The broadcast is so successful that Aria returns with Maria, Shiori, Sakia, and Kokone for a second show. Their unit is named Write My Tale, and Shiori has designed their concept after her favorite book, Alice in Wonderland. Each member plays a different character, and they subtly shift the story through improv. A cliffhanger ending is left to be resolved in a stage play during the festival. Kokone and Ako make an appearance on a radio show under the name Lionheart to explain more about the various plays and live shows that audiences can buy tickets for. Sala and Mahiru, under the unit Biju, do the same for all the upcoming fashion shows and exhibitions. There's so much on the schedule, they can't even get through it all in their time limit. Luckily, Yozora, Hibiki, Beat, and Seira are hosting their own fashion-focused broadcast to promote that side of the festival. Yozora hosts a live stream from Aikatsu Academy and gives a live lesson on styling, using Hibiki, Beat, and Seira as models. As the unit Sparkle Flamma, they show viewers how to combine different brands to explore their own style. All of the cords they make on the stream will be shown as a special exhibit at the Academy. As broadcast promotions wrap up, Madoka and Kirara appear on one last radio show to give details on the next phase of promotions, variety shows. Festival promotions have been limited to online live streams and radio broadcasts so far, but now it's time for them to start appearing on TV as well. The two of them name themselves My Kiss and promise to appear on screen very soon. Madoka is first to appear with Otome as the unit Philo Pastry Futari, and they give their first morning talk show interview about the Aikatsu Festival. They're both full of excitement and funny remarks and promise that everything they don't have time to cover will be revealed in follow-up interviews over the next couple of weeks. Kira is next, appearing on a children's show about animals with Maria, Aine, and Mikuru. Their group name is Zuzus, a reference to their zookeeper concept. They happily show off their pets to the studio audience as they announce their plans for a special idol pet exhibit at the festival. Some of them will even be part of a petting zoo where fans of all ages can escape the crowds and relax. Aine follows up this appearance with her first TV interview, where she's joined by Kaguya, Akari, and Sarah and Aoi. They all answer questions about how events will be split between all the different Aikatsu schools, and how fans can travel between them. It all sounds like magic to the host, but the girls insist that it'll all make sense in practice. The Pom Pom Crate Company surprises fans by hosting an idol parade through multiple cities. Each parade is filmed and a documentary special about the event is broadcast on TV. First up are the Pom Pom Girls, a unit comprised entirely of the brand's image girls that includes Aoi, Akari, and Ki as the leader. Mizuki is an honorary member of the group, although she mainly acts as their producer. Kaede, Ki, and Otome are all interviewed as part of the documentary special. They called themselves Smile and Parade and explained how they were all invited to participate in forming units for the event. They hope that their efforts will pay off and that all the cities they visit together will be left just a little happier as anticipation builds for the festival. After the interview is the unit merry-go-world formed by Akari, Marin, and Wakaba. They sail by on a custom marine-themed parade float designed to look like a ship, and behind them they pull a stage for Mirai and Kaede's unit, Tomfoolery. Mirai and Kaede announce their participation in the upcoming Aikatsu festival before they're joined by Otome, Yurika, Nina, and Kokone. They perform on their moving stage as the group Welcome to Funland. Otome, Emma, Hinaki, and Yuzu follow the stage as energetic cheerleaders under the name Pop Cheer. They hand out informational pamphlets on the Aikatsu festival to the crowd, wave to fans, and show off the cheers they practiced. They're followed by the special marching band unit Crescendo, made up of Sora, Akko, Mio, Ann, and Yuzu. Yuzu leads them and guides their performance in support of the Pop Cheer unit. At the end of the parade route, all the idols put on a grand finale performance together. Thanks to the success of the Storytime broadcast, the show gets its own TV special as well. Shiori and Sakura host the special with the duo named Wonder Tales. They introduce the Garden Fairies, Maria, Arya, and Karen, who act out a story inspired by the song Pirouette of the Forest Light. They're joined by Mikuru and Sakura to form the new group Haneris. Sakura leads the second half of the story as its protagonist, and the ending is once again left to be revealed during the festival. The final TV promotion is a baking competition show. Kokone is the main host and forms the unit Shortcake Atelier with Ichigo, Aine, Yume, Otome, and Anne. They're meant to be competing to decide the official dessert of the festival, but the show quickly spirals out of control. It's decided that because they all ended up working together, all of their desserts will be available at the event. While the idols have been busy with broadcasts and TV appearances, they've also been recording music. The surprise release of the Muses album drives fans into a frenzy, especially since it features the voices of Mizuki, Elsa, Hibiki, and Rose. Everyone is excited to find out which idols will be collaborating next. They don't have to wait long, as the Eclipse album releases soon after. It features Yurika, Sumire, Lily, Sakuya, Kaguya, and Cupid as the first in a series of gothic collaborations. Sumire and Sakuya release a special cover of Emerald Magic under the duo name Gothnique, and a companion version featuring Sumire and Yurika as Lilac Vampire is released alongside it. For the next gothic album, Checkered Dolls, Alicia replaces Cupid alongside Yurika, Sumire, Lily, Sakuya, and Kaguya. The main highlight of the album is a group cover of Glass Doll, along with solo versions for each group member. This time, the companion release is the Winter Garden mini-album from Yurika and Alicia, who are joined by Sakura as a surprise feature. They cover Emerald Magic as well as Future Transit and Magical Door. The Sakura feature turns out to be a hint at the next concept when Sakura and Arya release their Floria album. Its main track is Happiness on the Same Earth. The winter aspect of Winter Garden is expanded by Alicia, Lily, and Aoi on their album Arctic Angels. Sumire continues to dominate the vocal arena in her collaboration with Aoi, Laura, and Mio. They campaign heavily ahead of the release date for Lapis Lyra, a futuristic song collection full of dance tracks. They have strong competition in Starry Nights, an equally catchy album from Yozora, Lisa, Alicia, Madoka, and Hime. Both units promise to decide a winner at the Aikatsu festival. A more light-hearted series of releases is started by Ichigo, Yurika, and Ki with their Sky High mini-album themed after the power of flight. They're followed by Cheer For You, an album sponsored by Vivid Kiss and spearheaded by Mikuru and Hinaki. They brought Nono, Mahiro, Maika, Emma, Wakaba, and Ruli for an expansive set of covers and original songs meant to hype up listeners. Some of the featured songs are Rainbow Colored Encore, Happy Aikatsu, Popcorn Dreaming, and Diamond Happy. The public is especially enamored with Sweet Harmonics, a single released by Mahiro and Sumire under the leadership of Noelle. They'd written the song about their older siblings, but it became so popular they promised to expand their collaboration into the festival. A large campaign is then put in motion to promote the album Morning Glory. It features Rose, Karen, Tsubasa, Maika, and Mahiro, and comes with a variety of pre-order gifts. It quickly exceeds sales expectations and becomes a highly sought-after release. The final album released ahead of the Aikatsu festival is Aikatsu Legends, a collaboration between Ichigo, Akari, Yume, Aine, Mio, Rocky, and Hana. Its song list is the result of a public vote and comes in an extensive variety of special and limited editions, all featuring slightly different songs and unit combinations. The Aikatsu festival finally kicks off with a variety of plays and live shows to entertain huge audiences of attendees. Ichigo, Akari, Sakura, Yume, Kaede, and Hime form the unit Cuties at the kickoff live. They put on an elaborate performance telling the story of how the Aikatsu universe came together for the event. But it seems like trouble is brewing, and the Cuties unit warns guests to be on the lookout for villains that are trying to put a stop to the festival. The first of these villains appear in the Nightcatcher stage show featuring Shion, Emma, and Micah. They play spies in a thrilling action-adventure meant for younger fans. Even though the show's runtime is less than an hour, they're able to catch the bad guys just in time. How lucky. For older fans, Shion also plays the protagonist in the Neo Cop show alongside Tsubasa and Aoi. It's the same basic premise, but the audiences don't overlap much, so they're able to tell a slightly darker story. The focus is much more on drama this time around, and the bad guys manage to get away in the end. This open ending leaves room for Aoi and Shion to return the following night with their Mars police show. Now joined by Mirai and Laura as special agents, they pledge to bring down the villains once and for all and prevent them from ruining the festival's finale stage. They finally succeed and unmask the criminals, who turn out to be Alicia and Rei. Running simultaneously with these stage shows has been Hime no Mamoru, a guerrilla performance format in which Alicia and Rei play these shadowy figures in small skits between other shows. They disguise themselves and pretend to sneak onto stage, where they act out their sabotage and disappear before the main show. Now that their identities have been revealed, a special play called Royal Shadows is put on the final day of the festival. It shows the inner workings of the villain group, a ruthless royal family. Alicia plays the queen with Rei as her trusted knight. Sumire appears as the crown princess, who is just as eager to sabotage the festival. Sakuya and Kaguya round out the cast as the family's twin maids who provide a lot of the show's comic relief. As a lighter alternative to the villain storyline, a children's play called Royal Flush is put on by Madoka and Shiori. They bring back several story elements from the Storytime promotional special and tell a much softer version of the Royal Shadows plotline. All ages are welcome at Fun Adventura, an interactive live show put on by Ki, Otome, and Nina. They perform puppet shows, play mystery games with the audience, and improvise skits based on suggested prompts using audience volunteers. Ki and Nina are also the hosts of the Toys R Us play, alongside Kaide. This show is sponsored by the toy company Dandai and is mostly just a showcase for its latest products, but it proves to be a hit with kids. Each show selects a few lucky winners to receive a free toy, which definitely helps their attendance numbers. Ki is also part of the Cheerful Trick Candy performance group with Otome and Hinaki. Their creative take on the trick-or-treating concept has them dress up in costumes and put on funny voices to roam around the event venue and hand out candy to guests. On the final day of the festival, a feature-length film is screened at all venues. It's preceded by the short film Gentle Breeze, which stars Aria and Alicia. It's a fairy tale style short that serves as the prologue for the entire Aikatsu festival and shows how Alicia ended up on her villainous path. The feature film that follows it is titled True Sky and stars Ako, Yume, and Madoka. They act as the heroic royal family that contrasts Alicia's, and they use the fantasy setting of the film to show how their magical battle with the Royal Shadows family sent them into the Aikatsu world and the Aikatsu festival. By understanding all the characters' backstories, the audience is able to empathize with the villains too. In the end, every idol ends up celebrated by the festival's attendees, no matter their role in the overall story. The closing event of all of these plays and shows is a full cast interview hosted by Lily, Mikuru, and Hibiki. They ask audience questions about the festival storyline to all of the cast members and thank everyone for being a part of it. It's the perfect ending and it wraps up just in time for the Aikatsu Festival's finale. But for some attendees, the festival's fashion shows have been an even bigger draw than the overarching narrative. There are so many runway shows and exhibitions that it's hard to choose where to start. A good place would be the Twinkle panel hosted by Sala and Mizuki. There they give a preview of all the different designers participating in the event and model some of their own new designs. Next would probably be Hair Dye, a short runway performance of makeover makeup by Sala, Mikuru, and Mahiru. They show off the latest hair and makeup trends, which audience members can try out for themselves in the booth next door. Sala's next appearance is in Check and Up, a showcase for Rainbow Berry Parfait. She, Lisa, and Aine have been recruited by Koharu to promote the brand. Sala is responsible for the group's makeup, Aine helps with design, and Lisa is their primary model. In another pavilion, Sora, Yozora, and Mikuru have combined their tastes to form Caustic Trinity. They incorporate trends from bohemian fashion, LA streetwear, and global cultures to form their own design sensibility. They even create their own music for the event, giving the entire experience a luxurious tropical feeling. For attendees that are interested in modeling, the unit Underlight is hosting an amateur-only audition. As members of the unit, Shion, Hikari, Koharu, Marin, and China perform a demonstration fashion show and then give tips on posing and walking to applicants. The winners get to perform on stage, but everyone gets a turn posing and taking pictures before the results are finalized. Aoi, Mio, and Sumire joined together to form the Future Friends unit and put on a runway show dedicated to the future of fashion. They focus on exciting new materials as well as the possibilities brought by international collaboration. Meanwhile, the Aesthetic Candies unit created by Noelle, Koharu, Rocky, Wakaba, and Anne has created their own exhibit on Tokyo's many street fashion styles. They've each spent a lot of time studying their favorite neighborhoods and are excited to teach visitors what they've learned. Ichigo and Maria have also teamed up under the name Sweet Bouquet to give out ribbons and flowers to attendees that they can wear as accessories. It turns out to be a very fun way to get even the most timid guests to participate. For those who really enjoy the flower concept, Sweet Bouquet makes sure to direct them to the Wildflowers runway show starring Juri, Aria, Karen, and Rose. Their designs are all about floral motifs and the stage is covered in flowers. Their passionate performances are a perfect fit for the explosion of color that surrounds them. Juri is also a member of the design brand Tival, a unit formed by her, Mirai, and Kaide. Their exhibit on their collaboration collection shows off a mix of carnival, tango, and pop motifs. The end result is an exciting and eclectic design sensibility that suits all three members beautifully. A more advanced modeling exhibition is held by Ruli, Kagaya, and Juri under the name Carrot Jewel. Ruli is their producer, and she's recruited the two other girls to boost their popularity in the modeling world. To show off their versatility, they've even swapped their favorite brands with each other. Guests are invited to watch them pose for photo shoots and walk the runway before trying those jobs themselves. As an extension to this event, Ruli has also recruited Ron and Ray for a panel about the fashion and modeling industries. They call themselves Rareru and present the basics of each field before answering questions from the audience. One of the most anticipated events of the Aikatsu Festival is the Dolly Devil fashion show headlined by Ron and Lisa and their unit Elegance. The show is a big hit with fans and precedes the finale event for the fashion side of the festival, a huge runway performance by Ron, Yozora, Maika, and Sala as the unit Biju. Their costumes have been chosen by audience vote, and the glamorous stage leaves everyone wanting more. As the grand finale for the festival, a massive concert plays out across multiple stages around the Aikatsu universe. It's kicked off by Queen Katsu 8, the group name for Mizuki, Mikuru, Elsa, Rei, Mirai, Karen, Rose, and Cupid. They perform an elaborate group number before splitting off into pairs for a series of smaller performances. Mizuki then joins Lisa for a duet version of Move On Now under the name Amethyst. This stage leads into the Flaming Passion stage, where Mizuki, Juri, Mahiro, Elsa, Maika, and Hibiki perform a powerful version of B-Star. On another stage, the Sunshine Girls, formed by Aoi, Mikuru, Akari, Hinaki, Yozora, Ako, Kira, Aine, and Mio, perform One Step in a burst of summer energy. Hinaki and Ako are then joined by Yuzu and Emma for the Tropical Summer unit, where they perform OK Period. At the same time, Kira has been joined by Nina and Haruka for an energetic cover of Miel Mier as the unit Pop Candy. Maria and Wakaba then take the stage as Heart Patch to keep the energy going with This World is Wonderful. Otome, Yuzu, Emma, and Mirai then take the stage and introduce themselves as Candy Salad before performing Mirai's signature song, A Nice to Meet You. At a separate venue dedicated to gothic rock, Seira, Ki, and Sora form the unit Mystique. Their rock cover of Idol Activity hypes up the audience, who then welcome the new unit Quintetic to the stage. This unit is formed by Michiru, Reika, Asami, Yurika, and Sumire, and their group rendition of Eternally Flickering Flame is a massive crowd pleaser. Seira then returns with Laura and Beat under the name Vinyls to perform Sweet Spice along with a medley of rock covers. Following them, Laura is joined by Aoi and Mio as the unit Dazzling Rock Flares. They bring a brighter sound with 1-2 Sing For You, which transitions into the more energetic setlist performed by Juri, Ron, and Rin as the unit My R. The Aikatsu Festival also features a sweet stage, kicked off by Akari, Hinaki, and Kokone in their unit Dreamy Vivid Patissier. They sing a series of covers of popular songs, followed by Ichigo and Mizuki's unit Strawberry Moon. The two of them perform a duet version of Intuitive Radiance, which softens the energy in the audience. The calmer tone makes way for Akari, Hime, and Aria to perform an enchanting version of So Beautiful Story. The final unit on the sweet stage is Florales, formed by Wakaba, Akari, Yume, and Noelle. They lovingly dedicate a cover of Everyone Everyone to the idols who inspired them and perform Shining Line as an encore. The finale to this enormous concert is started by the Sun, Moon, and Stars unit featuring Elsa, Mizuki, and Yume. They perform Signalize, Forever Dream, and Start Line, and then Mizuki is joined by Hime, Sakaya, and Kaguya for the Luminescence unit. Their medley of Guided and Coincidence Inevitable sends the audience on a roller coaster of emotions. Sakaya and Kaguya leave the stage and are replaced by Elsa, Hibiki, Alicia, Cupid, and Rose. Alongside Mizuki and Hime, they form the unit Elysian. They split into two groups to perform a magical version of To the New Stage, and then reunite for a dramatic rendition of Soulmate. Ichigo and Yume then join Mizuki on stage under the group name Syzygy. They first perform an emotional cover of Moonlight Destiny led by Mizuki with a grand orchestral backing. Ichigo then leads the trio for a cover of Akogare customization that slowly builds the audience's excitement back up to a fever pitch. As the grand finale of the Aikatsu festival, Yume takes the lead to perform Music of Dream. They're joined by a massive cast of idols, all singing in harmony for the final verse. Audiences across every venue explode with applause, blown away by the incredible experiences they've had at the festival and its culmination in this final concert. With joy in everyone's hearts and a renewed passion to face the future, the idols leave the stage for a well-earned rest. Thank you all so much for sharing your creations with me. We got so many unique ideas and it was amazing to see them all come to life. Bye bye.
You are my treasure! You are shining star!